Hi guys, it's Mr. Vandergriff here, and at the end of this video, I am going to eat an insect, so please stick around until the very end. We've been talking about why it's important to study insects, and some of you might not know that it's a great food source. Many cultures around the world eat insects as part of their culture, and there's a word for it called entomophagy. And I would like you to take a look at this video, and then I have another video of a student eating an insect, and then I'll go ahead and eat an insect at the very end. All right, here we go.
For centuries, people have consumed bugs. Everything from beetles to caterpillars, locusts, grasshoppers, termites, and dragonflies. The practice even has a name, entomophagy. Early hunter-gatherers probably learned from animals that foraged for protein-rich insects and followed suit. As we evolved and bugs became part of our dietary tradition, they fulfilled the role of both staple food and delicacy. In ancient Greece, cicadas were considered luxury snacks, and even the Romans found beetle larvae to be scrumptious. Why have we lost our taste for bugs? The reason for our rejection is historical, and the story—
Oh, they're disgusting. I remember I was in the Peruvian Amazon rainforest and they brought me this grub, this beetle grub. It was like as big as my thumb and it was like moving like this. And then they gave it to me because I was the teacher and they said, you eat. And I know that you're supposed to not, dishonor someone's culture. I said, all right, I'll try, but it's moving. I don't want to eat it. It's alive. He said, all right, not a problem. So he twisted the head off the grub and pulled it off and then gave it to me. And it was just kind of moving around. So I popped it in my mouth and I chewed it around and it tasted like raw bacon and tapioca and it was slipping down my throat. Got right about here. The spirit was willing, but the body said nope. And it just came back up and I eventually got it down, but it did not taste good. So I probably would starve to death before eating that thing again.
probably begins around 10,000 BC in the Fertile Crescent, a place in the Middle East that was a major birthplace of agriculture. Back then, our once nomadic ancestors began to settle in the Crescent, and as they learned to farm crops and domesticate animals there, attitudes changed, rippling outwards towards Europe and the rest of the Western world. As farming took off, people might have spurned bugs as mere pests that destroyed their crops. Populations grew and the West became urbanized, weakening connections with our foraging past. People simply forgot their bug-rich history. Today, for people not accustomed to entomophagy, bugs are just an irritant. They sting and bite and infest our food. We feel an ick factor associated with them and are disgusted by the prospect of cooking insects. Almost 2,000 insect species are turned into food, forming a big part of everyday diets for 2 billion people around the world. Countries in the tropics are the keenest consumers, because culturally it's acceptable. Species in those regions are also large, diverse, and tend to congregate in groups or swarms that make them easy to harvest. Take Cambodia in Southeast Asia, where huge tarantulas are gathered, fried, and sold in the marketplace. In southern Africa, the juicy mopani worm is a dietary staple, simmered in a spicy sauce or eaten dried and salted. And in Mexico, chapulines are toasted with garlic, lemon, and salt. Bugs can be eaten whole to make up a meal, or ground into flour, powder, and paste to add to food. But it's not all about taste. They're also healthy. In fact, scientists say entomophagy could be a cost-effective solution for developing countries that are food insecure. Insects can contain up to 80% protein, the body's vital building blocks, and are also high in energy-rich fat, fiber, and micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. Did you know that most edible insects contain the same amount or even more mineral iron than beef? Making them a huge untapped resource when you consider that iron deficiency is currently the most common nutritional problem in the world. The mealworm is another nutritious example. The yellow beetle larvae are native to America and easy to farm. They have a high vitamin content, loads of healthy minerals, and can contain up to 50% protein, almost as much as in an equivalent amount of beef. To cook, simply saute in butter and salt, or roast and drizzle with chocolate for a crunchy snack. What you have to overcome in ick factor, you gain in nutrition and taste. Indeed, bugs can be delicious. Mealworms taste like roasted nuts. Locusts are similar to shrimp. Crickets, some people say, have an aroma of popcorn. Farming insects for food also has less environmental impact than livestock farms do, because insects emit far less greenhouse gas and use up less space, water, and food. Socioeconomically, bug production could uplift people in developing countries, since insect farms can be small-scale, highly productive, and yet relatively inexpensive to keep. Insects can also be turned into more sustainable food for livestock, and can be reared on organic waste, like vegetable peelings, that might otherwise just end up rotting in landfills. Feeling hungry yet? Faced with a plate of fried crickets, most people today would still recoil, imagining all those legs and feelers getting stuck between their teeth. But think of a lobster. It's pretty much just a giant insect, with legs and feelers galore, that was once regarded as an inferior, repulsive food. Now, lobster is a delicacy. Can the same paradigm shift happen for bugs?
I don't think so. All right, so I'm ready to eat this insect. Like I said, I was going to eat this insect, right? But actually, I didn't say I was going to eat this insect because I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I probably could, but I want to keep this specimen for my science class. So one of my students bought me years ago, actually not that long ago, I think it's Elijah's brother, Noah, he brought me these cricket bites. These things are awesome. And so they're crickets, and I've got a couple of different flavors here. So let me just show you. We've got here buffalo wing sauce right there, that one. We've got, original, roasted original. That one here, cheesy ranch right here. We've got spicy cayenne pepper one here, and then the hickory smoked bacon. All right, which one of these would you like to try? So we've got that one. I think I'm gonna go with well, that one's got bacon, so I'm not eating that meat. There we go. This is cheesy ranch. It's got cheese in it, so can't do that because vegan. But you know what? Buffalo wing. I guess this cricket's an insect anyway, which is an animal, so vegans aren't supposed to eat animals anyway. So I'm going to give it a try here. Here's one right here. That thing's... Ooh. That just kind of tasted like an almond. Yeah, wasn't that bad. Maybe it would have been better to eat this thing. I don't know. That horn is so cool. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Just remember, insects are delicious, and they've got a lot of protein. They're pretty healthy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye. That was disgusting. All right, so I'm done eating that thing. I forgot to show you one. All right, I'm done eating that cricket here. One last thing I wanted to show you was a few years back, a student was in the desert, and I think his parents gave him $100 to eat a stink bug live. I would not recommend this at all, but here's the video he shared with me.
Hold on. Good job. Keep doing it. Keep going. No. My temp back. Yeah. Yeah, my 22
Crying! It's okay!
Here, keep that. I'll give you credit.
I would not recommend doing that, okay? Don't eat your insects. Go ahead and collect them and enjoy the great insect adventure. Bye.